What's going on, everybody? On YouTube, Steve here with Raiken Profit, and we are hosting a green room show. Welcome to the show. From reselling to $500 a day with multiple income streams online with Nate McCallister. I'm Steve Raiken. You guys know who I am because it's my channel. But Chris, why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll pass it over to our guest.
What's going on, guys? I'm the Bonafide Hustler. I reside in Austin, Texas. I flip stuff I find from garage sales, estate sales, flea markets, pawn shops, swap meets, big box stores. I put on places like eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, my antique booth, consignment stores in town. One of the admins of thegreenroomuniversity.com. It's one of the links down below. But I'm curious to get to our guest immediately. We have Nate McCallister here from the entreresource.com, and you're in for quite the treat today because this is a very unorthodox kind of profession or a way to make money. And so we're going to go through about 5 different things here, 5 different parts of this outline to kind of highlight some of the stuff that you can get into outside of reselling, or maybe reselling can lead up to this, because that's what Nate has done. Nate, how are you doing today?
I'm great, man. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited to talk about all the stuff I'm doing. And I'm excited that there's people that want to hear about it because I can talk about it all day.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And are you in a rave right now, or what's going on behind you?
Yeah, it's a tropical themed rave.
Okay, this is DJ McCallister in the house, and this is his set behind him.
These lights are for some. My wife's like obsessed with plants. She says we have 170 different plants now in the house.
Wow.
I'm just taking her word on it. I think it's higher. But those lights feed the plants, apparently. But I just like the way they make me.
I've heard about that.
You know, there's some people out there, Raiken, that are drinking Brita water filters, you know, like filtration water. This dude's air is probably like more pure than like the Alps.
He's got the freshest. Yeah, man, he's got so much oxygen coming in right now. He doesn't even have to take a breath for the rest of the show.
That is true. So we're going to get to the content here in 1 second. We assume that we sound good, so help us out in the feed. Let us know where you're from as well. And if you are a Green Room member, go say hello and say you are a Green Room member. Now, you do have a blog, and it's called Entre Resource, kind of like entrepreneur and then resource, entreresource.com, correct?
Yeah. So I think that is also a motivation to anybody who's ever gotten hung up on a domain name. I have a terrible one, and I've made it work. everybody they're like, what, Entresource? Entire resource? Like
Entre Resource.
Yeah, I just believe that a lot of people search for stuff on Google now rather than typing it in. But yeah, it's Entre Resource. Like entrepreneur resources. It was a fail on the name, but
so if someone goes to your blog, what are they going to find at entreresource.com? Like, what's the main kind of like thing that you do over there?
So I talk about all different ways to make money online. I'm absolutely 1,000% passionate about the process. I actually started blogging back probably in 2014, 2015, and another blog called FBAtoday.com, and I started blogging about my journey on Amazon. And then I started to, that was when I knew nothing about Amazon. And just from day one, I just made people aware that like, I'm just a bozo who's learning how to, sell, and doesn't really know too much yet, but I want you guys to watch me learn. Right. So I think that's a great approach to get started. There's no point in pretending like you know something you don't. So it actually got to the point where my audience, I started to get traction with that. And then I ended up getting to the point where I was like, I realized I'm not just a reseller, I'm an entrepreneur, right? So reselling was kind of like my gateway into other stuff. So I kind of let FBA Today go to the side as far as the blog. And then I transitioned over to Entre Resource so I could talk about internet marketing and software development and different stuff that like article types that you would find on maybe entrepreneur.com, but everything there is written by me. I don't outsource my articles. I really enjoy writing there, and you'll find a bunch of different stuff just based on things that I'm doing, the tools that I'm using, some success stories that I've had, all types of stuff. I think there's like 100 some articles now. I flushed it out, killed half of my articles, which we could do a whole show on that, I think. But yeah, so people find all types of stuff related to internet business and what I do.
Okay. Why the quest on internet business? There's so many different ways to make money online, but like you really hone in on something that involves a laptop and you can go anywhere in the world, kind of like one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So me and my wife, I've got 2 young boys. We like to travel. We live in Ohio now, and the weather sucks, and we want to be able to have that freedom, right? So when I left my 9 to 5, I realized I was like, I don't want to be tied down. I want to be able to work from wherever I wanted to work, and I want to get paid for the work that I put in rather than the hours I put in. So I find that really the best way to do that is online. And I just feel like it's just a slap in the face to people that lived before to all the entrepreneurs that were around before the internet, right? That we have all these advantages, and we don't, if we weren't to take advantage of them. I feel like it's a shame. So I definitely every day I make sure that I take full advantage of the opportunities that we have as internet entrepreneurs.
Okay, cool. So that's pretty much your story and how you kind of got started in this unorthodox world of entrepreneurship. Let's figure out how people can follow you besides that blog. Like, what other social media things do you have going on right now?
If you wanna follow my Amazon side of things, so I'm not selling on Amazon like at any serious volume anymore. I still create tools and services for that niche. But I love that community. I love Amazon reselling just because I think that it is a great, it's easy to teach. So I keep a Facebook group called FBA Today. You can find that if you just type it into Facebook, you'll find the FBA Today, and go to the Facebook group, not the page. Ignore the page. And then I have another group called Micro Hustle. You can find that as well. I really like Facebook groups. I know there's a million different ways that you can build communities, but for me, I just really have always loved Facebook groups. I feel like they allow for awesome engagement. They've really helped me with my brand and with sharing my message. I love going live and stuff like that. So if you want to follow me, you can type in Micro Hustle. You'll find that. It's a picture of a big magnifying glass with the word micro in it. And again, yeah, my name's Nate McCallister. You'll see that in there somewhere. And then FBA Today is the Amazon related one.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about introducing multiple income streams, and like, if we can kind of break it down for the people out there. Why are, a lot of people are locked into 1 or 2 streams, right, Raiken? They're locked into 1 or 2 streams, and you're a huge proponent on multiple income streams. Why is this, Nate?
Well, I think we get fixated on the money part of things. I spent 7 years in college, and all logic that all the things that I read about business processes and things would tell me that I should focus on one thing and make it really, really big and streamline it, and me just do one thing. But I realized at a certain point that it doesn't make me happy, and I realized that if I'm not happy, that I'm not performing at the level that I want to perform at. So once I got to the point where I felt like I was making enough money, I realized I was like, I don't want to be doing stuff. Why would I even be working for myself if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing? So I, ironically, by doing that and kind of going against the grain of the traditional focus on one thing and just do that, which can work for people. I actually found more success by expanding into different things. And learning. I just made sure that I really kind of immersed myself in all the different opportunities that were out there, and kind of tried to improve my skills to an acceptable level on multiple things, so that I could, when I saw an opportunity, I had the minimum skill set to take action on it. And as far as productivity goes, is that the best way to do it? Common logic would say no. But I find that like right now, if one of my businesses fails, I've got several others. I've built a brand that allows me to, it's not going to go away anytime soon, and everything kind of feeds into the other thing, right? So I have a kind of a well-oiled machine that makes me feel much more comfortable than I did when I was just a reseller, when I left my job. When I'm doing all these different things, it would take a lot to really knock me out. Just with the way that I've built my business. And it also, like I said, the most important part is it's extremely gratifying. It keeps me excited. I consider myself to be a creative type of person. And if I'm not being creative, I'm not happy with the work I'm doing for the most part. So that's why I'm that way. I don't think I can appreciate that not everyone's that way, but if you are watching Raiken Profits, I have a feeling that you're probably more likely to be that way. I think that entrepreneurs are more creative types on average. So I think that maybe some of you can relate to what I felt and why it was actually able to help me grow my businesses into a kind of a cool, rounded system. So.
Right.
Yeah, I relate to a lot of the things that you mentioned there, and I'm curious for you though. You're running multiple businesses. Some are probably smaller, some are bigger. What's your mindset when you're looking to start something new? Because I know there's a lot of people who are watching now, and they might sell on eBay, or maybe they're selling Amazon, and maybe they want to learn affiliate marketing, or maybe they want to learn a Shopify store or something. What's your mindset going into something when you see an opportunity? How do you get yourself into another thing while you keep the wheel spinning on everything else that you're doing?
Well, for me, I love what I do so much that I'm not the type of person that's like, what if I put a lot of time into this and it doesn't work? I put a lot of time into things that no one will ever see because they failed, or they were just not great ideas. But I guess for me, I'm not afraid to take action on something and for it to not pan out, because I love the process. So even if something does fail, that's okay. I understand that that's part of what it takes to do this. So for me, I guess it's just the fact that I'm ready to take action on things, and I don't really drag my feet. I think a lot of people are afraid of their ideas failing. So instead of letting them fail, they never let them even try to get off the ground. I think people need to accept the fact that you will do a lot of work. And I think maybe at the end of the day, only probably about maybe 5 to 10% of it's going to actually come out into the real world where people are going to see it, right?
Oh,
but
wow.
everything else is part of the process.
Right.
It's part of learning. Like on my blog, I tell people all the time, I've written over 200 posts just on Entre Resource. I've cut out about half of those, and then of those half, only about 15 get me most of my traffic, and then of those 15, about half of that make me all my affiliate sales. Now, am I upset that I wrote those 200? Not at all, because it helped me find my voice. It helped me develop my skills as a writer and as a speaker. And I think writing and speaking really go hand in hand. When you can articulate your thoughts, you can also speak them more clearly. So it's all part of the process. And so for me, I'm just ready at all times to take action. And another part of it is I'm continually learning. So I think that also puts me in a position where I might be more inspired than other people, because I'm kind of more aware of opportunities because I've learned about how other people are doing them. So like when I learn about stuff like, let's say, email marketing or Facebook ads, when I see a product, I can look at it in a different way, and I can think to myself, okay, I could make money by, or I could see something and think, that's not, somebody else tried that and it didn't work. But then I could see it as, okay, if they ran Facebook ads like a certain way, they could have done it better. Or if maybe this other business failed because they weren't sending emails in the right way, or they didn't have an email. There's just all different types of things that you start to, the more you learn, the more you see, the more opportunities you see. So even though some people will specialize and they'll be like the Facebook ads guy or the email marketing guy or whatever, I found that by kind of knowing about all of it, you start to see things differently, and you start to see opportunities everywhere you look. So I recommend that everybody, number one, whatever you're doing, action is most important, but then you also have to be continually learning. Even if what you're learning isn't something that you're going to actually, might not be the end game, right? It's all seems to be part of the creative process, and you have to kind of, for me, I kind of overlearn, and then it all ends up, again, comes down to like most of the stuff that you do isn't gonna be what makes the results. It's the same with learning, right? But maybe just that one thing that you learned could end up making you, tens of thousands of dollars. It's just part of continually feeding that, and continually learning and continually having that mindset that you're going to take action.
Right.
And that's
let
really
me
how I
ask
do it.
the feed something real quick while we're on that subject, because it's a really good subject. So the people in the feed, like, what's one thing that you want to do, like, that you want to learn, like something new that you want to learn, and tell me one thing that you've done to start that action. Like, I think that's really important. And if you haven't started, that's okay too. That's what this show is all about. The show is all about getting people that have been there, and they get around it somehow. So let's talk about, you're about to crack into a new business, Nate, and I want to see the people in the feed, their responses too, but you're about to crack into a new business. Do you prefer research, like straight up research, late at night, just fun stuff on the phone, courses, videos, podcast, mentorship, or actual straight up coaching? Probably the most expensive one out of all of them. But how do you kind of learn like about something new? Everyone's got their ways, right? Like, what is your way, Nate?
So I guess I'm in a different situation because I'm at the point now where I'll spend as much money as I can on my own self-education. But when I started, it wasn't like that. And I know most of the people watching, probably not everybody is like, yesterday, I think I bought 2 courses and I think I spent like maybe $1,000 between the two. And it was just a few hours of content. But for me, my thought is if I can just learn one thing from this, I'm going to pay itself off so many times over because my business is kind of operating at scale now. So like for me to learn one thing about email marketing that makes me 10 more sales, it pays itself off. So that's
crazy.
That's an awesome thing because I'm a junkie, like when it comes to learning stuff. So I get this little endorphin rush when I buy a course or something. It's pretty dorky, but that's how I think people can relate to that. But as far as number one, most important thing is take the action, right? I mean, I tell all my students, I have a group called, I have a private group of micro hustle members, and I tell them about Facebook ads. I say, this is what I want you to do to learn Facebook ads. I want you to start running ads. Just run an ad for, come up with what you would want to run an ad for. Start running that ad for $5. Run it and don't stop it. I said, you're going to hemorrhage money. You're not going to make any money at first. If you do, you need to start teaching the course because I really doubt you'll make money right away. And I said, I don't want you to run it and then pump the brakes when you don't make money. I said, I want you to run it until you figure it out, until you get to the point where you stop losing money. Because that's when you really learn, is when you actually put a little bit of skin in the game and actually, like, I tell them, like, let the boat start sinking and you got to learn how to fix it. And that's really the best way to learn, especially once you start getting to the point where real dollars are on the line. To me, that's my favorite way, is to take action like that. But also you got to combine that with a good amount of book learning and video learning, like watching Steve's videos. There's so much stuff available on YouTube. I like paid courses because there's also a lot of stuff, like not everybody's like Steve that has quality content. Some of it's garbage, or it might be misleading. So I kind of like paying for stuff when I can, or like there's a few people that I really trust on YouTube. Like you guys can obviously trust Raiken Profits, but there's some stuff that like it could be bad info, or it could be a little bit misleading, or it could be, the goal could be to sell you something that's, not really relevant to you. So it's a combination of mostly action and then book learning. But people,
I like it's organized too, right, Nate? A course is organized, right. And that's good too. That's a huge piece of the puzzle, correct?
Right. And a lot of people are like, why would you pay for a course when you can find all that stuff online? I'm like, well, you can, but this is organized, and it's also it's
time.
Time. It's logically organized, and all the information is built for, from the same trusted source. So like if I buy something from Russell Brunson, I know that all of that is Russell Brunson certified stuff. Where if I just watch every video on sales funnels on YouTube, I'm going to have to filter out between that like 20% of crap content, and then you can't really. It's just best. I like to pay when I can, but also there's so much great stuff on YouTube. I mean, watch all of Steve's videos, Googling things, watching other people, going in forums and engaging. It's just, there's a lot of great ways to learn, but the important thing is that you do keep learning in some way.
So list all the things that if someone was like, okay, I want to take action on something, Nate, how would you, like, if you just, started like naming off on your fingers, how could you learn something new? Go ahead and like name it off right now. All the ways right now that you can think at this very moment. How can you learn something new?
Well, number one, I guess kind of like I like my books, and so I really like reading. I know some people hate it. So you could read, you could listen to podcasts, you could watch YouTube videos. You could. My favorite is to take action and fail, or as you're trying to do something, like try just something simple like going to set up a WordPress site or setting up name servers. Start doing it and get to the point where you can't do it anymore. Google it and then learn it. We do accidentally, because you remember that, right? When you're sitting there struggling and then you figure it out, you're like, it's a relief. I learned it, so I'm not gonna forget it. I'm also a big piano guy. So I take a lot of what I've
piano, right? That's what people need to get, is get a piano.
So get a piano. So,
all right, guys.
The skills that are required in learning something like the piano are similar to learning anything, right? It's consistency over time and dedication and actually taking action, right? You can't learn a piano by looking at it. You can read books on theory, but you have to get down and actually play it at some point.
Yeah.
So you've got that. I love my podcast. I remember when I was working at my full-time job, I listened to a ton of Pat Flynn, Smart Passive Income.
Pat,
yeah, he's great. Entrepreneur on Fire, all that stuff. Even some of it, sometimes you just need a little bit of motivation too, because I think entrepreneurship it's just a grind. And I know it's corny, and like some people are like, oh, these self-help books are all the same, or these podcasts are all the same. I think Mark Twain said it. He said, like, he's like, motivation is like bathing. He's like, you don't just do it once, right? You got to do it. You got to do it daily. You got to keep yourself motivated. So there's no harm in mixing in a little bit of motivational stuff if you're that type of person. And I find just, reading books like, Tim Ferriss, 4 Hour Work Week. There's some books that I go back to multiple times that I learn something new every time, and they kind of motivate me and get me excited. And that's important because it's definitely a marathon rather than a sprint. Right. I'm gonna see how many one-liners I can crack out during this webinar.
I saw some funny things in the comments already, like you need to do an affiliate link for the piano. So let's talk about.
If I had an Amazon associate link, it would be a pretty decent payout.
Let's talk about the big. If you had to like whittle it down to like the biggest thing that you noticed that stopped people from building multiple income streams, like what 3 pieces of advice would you give out there? First, let's take it from the very first thing. What's the biggest thing you've noticed that kind of stopped people from building these income streams? What is it?
The reason why most people stop, I think, is because they hit the inevitable bump in the road, right? I think
that's where you need to keep going, right?
Exactly. And I think that's the point where people, every time I hit a bump, I tried to teach myself that is what makes me a successful entrepreneur, is that I hit the bump and I keep going. So every time you hit a bump, that's your chance. This is again corny. This is another one of my one-liners. Every time you hit the bump, though, that's a chance for you to get past your competitors, because every time you hit a bump, there's a big group of people that stopped there. So every time you get over one, you're just getting further than other people. And if you don't have bumps, you're not doing anything. It's just literally impossible. No matter how much money you're making. I mean, Russell Brunson, who's probably making $20 million a year doing ClickFunnels, every day he has some new problem, right? Problems aren't limited to people who are brand new or people who are gigantic like Russell or people who are in between. We all have them. And if you're not the type of person that can get over them, you're not going to make it in this business. I wrote an email the other day, and it was one of my most read emails I've ever sent. I talked about how at my old job, I was known as like the printer guy. People would always come to me and ask me to fix their printer. They would ask me to install their printers and stuff like that. And then everybody was like, yeah, Nate knows printers really well. He knows printers. And I said, I don't know printers. I just know Google. And I know that I was like, I know that the printer needs to be installed, and I know that it's not broken, and I know that it can be installed. So I decided, that I should have pretended like I didn't know, because it ended up taking a lot of my life away at my job. Because every time somebody's printer went down, I had to fix it, because I was the only one that knew printers. But that's how entrepreneurship is. You have to be that person that knows that it can be figured out, it can be done, and then you see it through, and kind of like be the printer guy.
Yeah, I like the analogy on the bumps of the road kind of thing. I actually showed Raiken today. One of my private label products is going to be like the assembling of 3 things that I have to order from different parts, right? Some comes from the US, some comes from the Orient. And today I showed Raiken one piece of the private label product. And the funny thing is, Raiken, there was at least 10 or 15 bumps in the road to get to that one piece. Mm-hmm. Like, and some of those bumps, they can get to you. I mean, they can get to you and you're like, why? like communication barriers, you're dealing with the Orient. There's all kinds of weird stuff, and they're not hearing you out. But like he said, if I didn't sit there and if I didn't just keep going and see, I don't know, let's go one question further, and like how do you keep the goal fresh in your head? Like how, someone that wants to do start multiple income streams, and let's say they want to start something simple like affiliate marketing. How do you keep a goal fresh in your head so that these bumps don't cost you or kick you out?
So I'll be honest. I think I have a bit of an unfair advantage, because I don't know if we were talking about expert secrets earlier. There's a part in the book where Russell talks about it's hard to sell people on something that like requires them to do work. Like people want to buy something that like kind of justifies why the old way didn't work. And so it's something that's easier, right? Because most people lack motivation. And I'm kind of blessed with the fact that I have a copious amount of motivation, and I don't really lose it. And I'm pretty lucky that I don't really have that problem at all. And then I've got.
You got to catch that, man, when it comes in.
We need an affiliate link for that basketball. We need an affiliate link for that kid.
I've got one. Sorry.
Well, Steve, let me ask you this question while you're on the show, because we're going to get to part 3 in 1 second here. But like, how do you keep a goal fresh in your head? Because you're actually developing something right now, and this is a massive project. How do you keep this thing, going? I know you got bumps in the road, dude.
Yeah, I know the exact answer. For me, it's taking action every single day, even if it's just improving 1% or doing one thing. It's when I stop taking action for an extended period of time, other things catch my eye. And I'm sure you can relate to that, Nate. The what's it called?
Shiny object
syndrome. Like, if you're not taking action on something and you're not like immersing yourself into it, educating yourself, like taking action is the biggest thing for me. So once I start moving, man, like I'm unstoppable. But once I stop taking action, it's easy for me to get pulled away. I don't know if you deal with the same thing, Nate.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I tell people all the time that I kind of succeed in spite of myself in that regards, because I do follow things that I do fall into the shiny object syndrome. I take a lot of action, so I kind of put myself deep into things. So it's almost to the point where I put in so much work up front. Can I help you?
Peekaboo.
So I like to think that, honestly, like the person that fails the most wins. Like that's kind of just like the way I think about it. When you take action, you're willing to go, I'm either going to win or lose. If you take action again when you lose, you might win or lose again. And if you take action again, you might win. And you're like, oh, okay. And you do more of that. So like what Raiken's talking about is, if you take action, one of two things is going to happen. It's just inevitable. But if you don't take action, none of those two outcomes will happen. And then the ball can stop right there. So the person that fails the most ends up winning in the end.
And think about it too. I was just having this conversation with a friend today. If you look at somebody who's successful, maybe it's a business where they're making $1,000 a month with merch, or they have a eBay or an affiliate marketing business. If you look at where they are today, it's all these tiny little things that they did on a daily basis. It's not like they just all of a sudden spent like 50 hours straight and built it. It's these little tiny decisions and these little tiny actions on a daily basis that add up to these huge things, and then they start to compound on each other. So yeah, it's awesome. With that being said, I think
let's talk about income stream number 1 real quick.
Streams. Yeah, I want to hear what Nate's up to. There's real quick before we dive in, if you don't mind. We're kind of at the halfway mark, so we have 177 people watching live right now. So if you guys are enjoying this video, be sure to do us a big favor and smash that like button down below.
Take action, guys. Take action.
Yeah, Nate's blog is linked up down below as well if you want to check him out. But yeah, smash that like button, guys, and we're going to dive into the good stuff now. Chris, you want to get into the first income stream that Nate's
first one, called Chrome extensions? And you got to first of all define what is a Chrome extension. Go for it for the people out there that might have zero clue what this thing is.
Right. Yeah. So a Chrome extension is a tool for that works only with the Google Chrome browser. Now, I've made several for Amazon sellers, and it's awesome because they are very, very easy to get done as long as you can be descriptive. It doesn't cost millions of dollars. It doesn't cost thousands of dollars. Sometimes I've had one of my softwares that has sold. I have one software that today has sold about $900, and it costs about $300 to make, and it's been making money for the past year.
Okay, so let's backtrack real quick. What exactly, if you could just define Chrome extension itself as what is an extension of Chrome? Like, people still might be like, what is he talking about? What is that exactly?
So if you are in the Chrome browser, you look up here at the top. There's a little like, you see where you got your search engine bar.
Yes.
If you look up there to the top, there might be some icons. If there are icons, those are Chrome extensions, and they do different things. Like, I have one here that will like let me pick colors from web pages. I've got one that I click it and it will extract information from an Amazon page. It's just basically a lot of these cool little resources. They're more like widgets than like full-blown software like systems, or they're like very small little apps that sit up on the browser and are only used in the browser.
Okay.
So go to the type in Google Chrome store and then check out, people can check those out. There's all different types of extensions. You have extensions for just about everything. Some of them are better than others. Some of them don't really have much of a point, but a lot of them are really useful. Like I have one that lets me download YouTube videos to MP4s. Just a lot of cool stuff. I've got one that tells me like page rank whenever I'm on a page, and it'll show me what somebody's ranking for in Alexa, and just anything you can think of. People have probably tried to make a Chrome extension for it if it's something that can be done on Google Chrome.
Okay, so now can you explain the business model of like how do you, or give examples of some things that you or your students have done?
Yeah, so hold on one second.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited.
Just Chrome extensions running around his room.
Did you know that, because Chrome extensions, I've downloaded a bunch of them for free. I'm curious to know.
Made those like that.
I'm curious if he knows how to make money off of the free, if he has like a back end way or what. Oh man,
Man.
So this is what it's like, because I don't have kids. Do you have kids, Chris?
Sam Kirker is saying exactly what I'm thinking. This is like that CNN interview.
That's what I was saying. Where the Chinese maid came out and go, yeah, right. If anybody wants 2 kids, I've got 2. I've got 2 dogs too that are available.
So what's the business model on the Chrome extensions, and maybe some examples of the things that you or your students have done?
So for me, the most successful ones that I've had were related to selling on Amazon. There's something called online arbitrage, right? You guys, I'm sure, know about online arbitrage. You find products from third-party sites and you buy them at low prices and then you sell them. And one of the tools I made allows you to extract products from Amazon and then run them through a tool called tactical arbitrage. And you're able to, are you kidding me?
I think it's Ring Around the Rosie going on right now.
Sawyer, come on, please. Don't. Oh my God. Where my wife's at. This doesn't happen at a regular.
It's all good, man.
We
can hold down the show for a couple of minutes if you got to tuck them in or anything, man. It's all good.
Tuck them in, right? No. Brooks, you gotta go find your mom. You gotta go to bed. Yeah. This is a different one too. All right, yeah, we'll go with it. But yeah, so the one that I had, it helps you find products from third-party sites, and then you can do basically the arbitrage process, find items that you can sell at a profit on Amazon. So whenever you make something that can help people make money, it's just an easy sell. All you gotta do is stand by it and promote it and be consistent. And eventually people really start to find it. And for me, I was lucky that I have a large group and following. So whenever I do have an extension, we're able to sell it pretty quickly. And then also with my group being the size it is, if somebody else has one that's related to my group, I can sell it as well. And it does pretty well, pretty fast.
So as long as the extension helps in some way, right? It doesn't have to make someone money. It could just shorten time or, you know, right? I mean, as long as it helps, that's what really makes some of these extensions sell for more than others, right? Or more popular than others, right?
Right. So it's just has to make somebody's life easier, make them money, save them money, or save them time. So for me, I always like to, since I came from Amazon, I knew the things that I wanted to make more money. So I made those things. And it's very easy. It's easy to get. I tell people all the time that if I were to sell you a jet ski, I've got to convince you that, oh, you're going to get all this value out of it. You're going to love it. You're going to have fun. You're going to use it every weekend, and it's going to be worth $4,000. But if I sell you a tool, I can say, look, this is a $200 tool. If you use it I tell people all the time, I say, I want you to use it for a week and then actually use it and tell me if you don't make your money back, come and I'll give you your money back. And when the tool does what it's supposed to do, it's just an easy sell. I like tools like that even more than things that say that they save you time or make your life a little bit easier, just because money is so much easier to quantify. You can quantify time and stuff, but people love buying the tools like my big one is Storefront Stalker Pro, which helps people, again, find products to sell on Amazon. But I don't get a lot of refunds on that because once people actually use it, they make money with it. And that's really what helps, it sell every day. Because you start to get kind of to a tipping point where you start to get a lot of word of mouth, and it kind of goes from there. So I really like doing things that help other people make money, but there's also, everybody can't be in that business. I mean, it's not for, there's other ways to do extensions and apps and stuff that make money, or help people save time, energy, or make their lives better. So I just prefer to go with ones that I can quantify by helping people make money. It's just my model. You can only do so many at a time, so there's no harm in focusing on
Hey,
area.
Let me ask you, because some people are asking, picking up the pace is asking, does Nate, I don't know if you mentioned this already, but does Nate write the extensions or does he outsource the programming?
That's a really good question. I don't know how to code literally at all. I barely know how to do like the HTML for my blog posts. What the best way to outsource or to do, you just don't need to know how to code anymore. I know that our generation is, everybody's saying like, oh, coding is the next big thing. And I think it's great to learn to code, but you don't need to be a coder to sell software, to make software. You just have to have the idea, and then you have to be able to articulate your idea on paper, into a job description. So I actually have, I don't have it up. I have it. If you join my Micro Hustle Facebook group, it's actually in there, I believe, in the files. There's a software worksheet that I actually give to some people in my private masterminds and stuff, where they actually will fill out, like, the best thing that I think is to give examples. So I'll say, I like the way that Google, or, I like the way that this search engine looks. I like the way that this tool, I like the browser bar. I like the speed of this one. I like the functionality of it. So I'll actually put together different pieces of different tools, and I'll be able to give my developer, who I'll get somebody in the Ukraine. Usually I like to go to the Ukraine. They've never let me down.
So let's take it for one step. Like, so you have a great idea. Let's, like, you got an idea, and as long as you said you can articulate it or at least transcribe it somehow on a job description, you can get this thing at least started, right? Where would you go to, start that whole process? Is there a certain site that you're like, yeah, this is where coders are just kind of waiting for jobs? Where would you go for that?
So I go to Upwork. There's so many
that's
different
like the big
channels.
one that a lot of people do. Yeah,
it's the big one, and there's nothing, I can't say there's anything wrong with like freelancer.com or any of those. It's just, you only need one developer, and as long as, you should always have a lot of applicants. So until I get to the point where like no one on Upwork is applying for my jobs, I'm not going to go off of Upwork.
Where do you draw the line though? Like, with the money that you spend on some of these things, like, where do you go? Okay, I'm gonna do, what did you say? You start kind of think like, I'm gonna do $1,000 into this job and see if it pays me free. Like, what's going on in your head when you start writing out the job description, or you get an idea for one of these Chrome extensions?
It's important. It's important to have kind of a launch plan, because I've paid for tools in the past that were like beyond me. Like, they were in niches that I wasn't in, and I didn't really have a launch plan for them. And they weren't failures, but they weren't huge successes. So I always like to think of, how do I see this being launched? And usually for people, the best way to do it is a JV partnership. I don't want to digress too much. The question was, how do I know, if I'm going to go in on something? But I can usually tell beforehand how many I'm going to sell. And I'm lucky because I've sold so many that I really know that, just because I can kind of anticipate, because I tell people all the time that your best future buyers are your past buyers, and I have a pool of past buyers. So when I have another tool that's similar to that, that's just as quality, and I know is gonna help them in the same way, I can really assume, and then once I know what I'm going to price it at, I can really go in and decide, like, all right, this is definitely worth like $1,000 to me to pay, because I know that I can at least make 10 on it or something like that. So for me, I have that advantage of having done it a few times and also having a list of past buyers. But if you're not like that, which most people aren't, you can always find somebody. Like there was a guy in my private Micro Hustle group who launched a tool 2 weeks ago, and he and I were JV partners on it, and it did $20,000 in one day. and he just absolutely crushed. It was his first extension. He had no audience, but he used that joint partnership. So I promoted it because it was right down my alley for my audience, right? So there's ways to expedite the success of a tool without actually having your own audience. But for me, I didn't really know that when I started, so I built my audience, which was a good thing.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good to have one, but just because you don't have an audience doesn't mean you should not pay to get a tool made or something. There's other ways to make money. If you have a good idea, you can find somebody who will help you launch it.
Okay, let's drop that blog post again. So you got a blog. Sorry, you have a blog, and it's entreresource.com. Am I right about that?
Yep, that is it.
That's how you can find out more about him. Let's go into income stream number 2, because we got to talk about income stream number 2, number 3, and then this last part, number 6. So we're going to kind of go into what I like, I guess, is rapid fire, super fast answer mode. Are you good with it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, because this one is something that I think a little bit, a lot of people are very aware of this one. Affiliate marketing, right? This is income stream number 2 that you want to talk about today. How do you define affiliate marketing? Go for it in a gist.
So affiliate marketing is, you're leveraging your credibility to sell somebody else's product, and then you get paid because you're helping them get exposure. And it's like when we sell on Amazon, we are leveraging Amazon's brand trust to sell our third-party products. So as an affiliate, the core at affiliate marketing is building trust and building credibility. The more of that you have, and then the bigger the audience you have, the more affiliate products you're going to sell. That's why people like John Lee Dumas crush, because he's built up so much goodwill and equity and trust that people know that he would never screw them over, and he can sell any good product that comes down the road, and he can make money, and in just one day he can make a ton. So that's affiliate marketing in a nutshell. Since we're rapid fire,
you get in front of your audience and you're going to talk about something that's not yours, right? Essentially, that's what's going on, right? You're going to get in front of your audience, talk about something that's not yours.
Right.
Do you first go through the product a whole lot, make sure it lines up perfectly? How intensive do you get into this product and go, okay, this really lines up with my audience. I like this. I like the person. What do you kind of do? Or do you kind of just go, oh man, like this thing's going to pay out like, $500 a head here,
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely can't look at the payout as the reason. And it's good to promote it's good to get in the habit of just promoting good things, whether it's an affiliate or not. That way people understand that, your best interest is serving your audience. So right. you have to never lose sight of that. So a good affiliate marketer doesn't lose empathy for their audience. They don't get blinded by every single move they do is related to money somehow. Really, if everything you're doing is related to money, the best thing you can do is sometimes just forget about that. Forget about money and get to the point where you're building goodwill, building value. Just like on Facebook, like some nights I like to just answer a new person's question about something crazy, like is this product a hazmat or something simple. You got to build goodwill. Not everything is about the end right. sale, right? So
okay,
yeah. So there's a lot that goes into that, but
okay. What are the top ways you make money with affiliate marketing?
My blog is definitely a huge source of traffic for me. I love nothing more than organic traffic. That's why another reason why I tell people that work with me one-on-one to run paid ads, because they're going to really appreciate organic traffic a lot more. So my advice to everybody is, if you are the type of person that could see yourself doing a blog or creating content in some way, you should do that, because it's just a great way to start to kind of build the umbrella of your brand and start to do something that you can actually build on. And then also, if you have that organic traffic, posts that make me good money while I'm sleeping, because I'm organically ranking for them, and I'm able to just, I don't pay for that traffic, but once the people get to the page, if the blog posts are written properly, right. You will convert a certain number of them to buyers.
Okay, so it's important to note, Raiken, right, that an audience can be created through a blog, through a YouTube channel, right, through many ways, right, and more specifically, he's got a different angle than Raiken, for example, right? Raiken, you got a YouTube channel that you spend so many hours in the past 4 years building, and people have trust in Raiken. and people have trust with his blog over here, Nate's blog. So how else can someone kind of build a following or an email list or something like that? Nate, can you answer that question? Outside of a blog and maybe a YouTube channel, how else? Could we talk Instagram or other things like that maybe?
There's definitely other ways. I tell people that you can do so many different things. The things that I do aren't going to work for everybody. Anything that you can do that's going to provide people value and build goodwill and establish yourself as somebody who's trustworthy, provides valuable information. It doesn't matter if you're doing that on the side of the road and you're getting people, or if you're doing it on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You know, it's about maximizing the value and goodwill that you can with people, and then everything else kind of comes from there. I like blogging and Facebook because that stuff stays. It doesn't just disappear. Especially with a blog. A blog is going to rank, like I said, in Google, so people are going to see that all the time. But whatever gets you in front of people and lets you provide the most value is the channel that you should be on.
Yeah, and Instagram does this kind of stuff with influencers. They do it with how do they call it? There's another name for it too, but it's not really affiliate. There's another name for it. There's influencers is kind of like the name that Gary Vee uses with Instagram. When you get someone else to endorse your product, right?
Right.
A decent following, or sometimes not even a decent following. Someone believes in it. They're like, I'd like to rep your product. So you give them some of your product for free or something like that, with the hopes of making more in the back end. So okay, let's talk about top mistakes to avoid. Like if someone wants to get into affiliate marketing, you're like, all right, this is definitely something you don't want to be doing. What are like top mistakes of people that get into affiliate marketing but they do the wrong thing and then they're screwed? Like, what is it?
I realized that I kind of skipped over the question that you asked. I went on a tangent. But as far as affiliate marketing mistakes, I think some people make the mistake of, and this should have been part of that answer, they promote the thing that just makes money or that has a big attractive payout, rather than the thing that is best fit for their audience, or they promote things that they don't use. I'm in a group of ClickFunnels affiliates. I love ClickFunnels. They're one of my big affiliates. I had posted something and people started PMing me, asking me for ClickFunnels advice, and I was really shocked at how many people. I said, so what's your experience with ClickFunnels? I mean, what do you think is good about it that you would use as selling points? They go, well, I don't use it. I said, what?
Oh wow.
So you don't use it. I said, why are you promoting it, right? And not only from the fact that that's like, I mean, it could be a really bad product. So that's like, not only is it unethical in my opinion, but it's also, how the heck can you even sell something if you don't know what's good or bad about it? You have to know the tools inside and out. So I sell people stuff for Amazon, even though I'm not a gigantic seller. I am in the game enough that I understand what the needs are, and I keep empathy for the audience. So, the big mistake people make is they start to see the dollar signs rather than keeping that empathy with their audience. And that's really unfortunate. That's why most people fail, because they start promoting the dollars as opposed to the quality.
And all it takes is one time, right? Where, you promote something and it hurts your audience, or it doesn't work, and then they'll never trust you again. And then they'll even stop watching your content, because who's going to watch a video
absolutely.
or read up live from someone that they don't like? So that's huge, man. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah. So success as an affiliate marketer really is exponential, because you continually build goodwill, and you continually, you're consistent, and it starts to show. The more it shows, the more success you'll have. But like the second that you don't, I mean, you can lose it, and that's why most people don't make it, because at some point they screw up, but they lose track of why people bought from them in the first place, and they just start promoting things for the heck of it, and then it ends up hurting them.
Yeah, there's some really good comments in here. Raiken Stone saying, I love your show, guys. This talk show has helped me extremely. You guys motivate me. That's awesome. Clearing clutter for clarity. Definitely promote only the things that you like. So we're having a really good conversation here with Nate. You can find him at www.entreresource.com. That's his blog. Definitely go check him out. This leads us to income stream number 3, and hopefully we get a little bit of time for part 6. But income stream number 3, so let's kind of, let's quickly go through this one real quick. Can you talk a little bit about your software business? That seems like way over the head of a lot of resellers, but let's kind of bring it down to ground level. Can you talk a little bit about this software business of yours?
So the software and the Chrome extensions are kind of going hand in hand. So with software, it's there's some bigger things, like I don't know if you guys are, it's not my software, but you're familiar with tactical arbitrage. That's something that I help bring. I help bring that to market. I'm their biggest affiliate, and then as far as other softwares, it's mostly Chrome extensions. So I apologize, I didn't get into that more. But software for me is typically Chrome extensions and sometimes WordPress plugins. I have experimented a little bit with other apps, but most of my success has come from Chrome extensions so far.
Okay. So if you had to look at your revenue pie every year, like would Chrome extensions represent a pretty big piece of that revenue pie?
Yeah. So definitely about probably about half. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a big thing, right?
Yeah. It's a good amount.
Are you constantly thinking about the next one that you're about to create or outsource or any of that kind of stuff? Is that always going on through your head? I'm
always open to it, but I usually am considering how can I make the current ones better, or how can I sell more? Because it's so often we're barely scratching the surface with how many people. Like, I was really disappointed because I had a software that I had released, and I realized that my audience didn't understand why it was so great, or why I thought it was so great. I assumed that they knew why it was good, and I realized that I was missing a lot of sales because I was focusing on the next thing rather than
wow, interesting,
explaining that better and marketing it better. So I think a lot of people end up,
you never made the wheel in the first place, right?
Yeah, a lot of people, I see a lot of people there's a lot of people, like, I consider myself to be kind of a creator. There's people that create things and then they're so excited to go create the next thing that they forget to really optimize the last thing. Which
advice.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of discipline to stay with that. And then, so I don't actively, like, I don't sit down and write down. I don't sit down and try to think of extensions, right? They just come, over organically. The more that you're in the niche that you're trying to serve, the more that you'll see the problems, and they just kind of they come as they will. And in the meantime, there's plenty to do on the old stuff to make it better.
I wish I could make a Chrome extension for my microwave to where I just press a button and there's like a hot meal inside. That would be nice. Hot meal waiting. Just like that, man. Like, I don't need anything else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll see what we can do.
Really
Upwork has microwave experience.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that job's going to cost a lot of money. So picking up the pace says, other than the amount of income that the Chrome extensions bring in, what is your real passion when it comes to an income stream? Like, what's a income stream that you're super passionate about all the time? You just always want to work on it. Is it the Chrome extensions thing itself?
I think my biggest passion is talking about what I do.
Okay, cool.
I think that there's really no, I love blogging about internet business. I love blogging about marketing. I think it's so exciting because I talk to people all the time. They're like, I had no idea that I could do that. I talk to people it's a little insulting, but like my friends from like high school and college will be like, wait, what do you do? And they immediately think like, okay, so if Nate's doing it, it's gotta be possible. it's gotta be a lot easier than it seems. So I like being able to bring that to people. I say it all the time that I can't help you with like your relationships or anything else in your life, but I can help you make money. And a lot of other problems can be lessened when you fix the money problem, because most people have some sort of issue with money. And so when you start to get control of it by creating your own, it just is a really good feeling. And I really like sharing that with other people. I get super excited about it. I think it's important to do what you are most excited about. And for me, I get excited helping other people, make money online, because I think that most people just are so close, but they're missing a couple of pieces. And I love kind of coming in and filling in those gaps and sharing what I know and kind of helping them do the same thing that I do. If most people, unfortunately don't take me up on it, or they'll start and then they'll, like we talked about at the beginning, they'll hit that bump of the road and stop. But I like the few success stories that come out of it really make it all worth it.
That's cool. Besides your blog, if someone was out there is going, okay, you know what, I'm a reseller right now, but this has really piqued my interest and I want to move forward with this at least a little bit. I want to start checking out some things. Besides your blog, what's the number one place these people should be going to? Is it a podcast? Is it a YouTube channel? Is it a book to read? Like, what's one direction you're going to point them to? You're like, this is where you start. This is a great place to start.
Oh, it's a good question. I think there's just so many pieces that are involved that it's kind of more of adapting, just starting with the mindset of like, okay, every day I'm going to put some sort of information into my brain that has to do with internet business. The number one thing I tell people to read, I guess, if
like
I had to
do you
say
have an
one
idol,
book,
for example? Do you idolize someone out there? You're like, yeah, this person really, really is like what I want to become one day.
Yeah. Probably somebody like Tim Ferriss. I tell people all the time that 4 Hour Work Week is a great book, and it kind of touches on the entrepreneurial
automation and all that kind of stuff.
It's a great book because it actually has a lot of actual applicable stuff, but it also touches on the mindset of new work, and I love that. So I tell people all the time, if you're excited about what I do, that's totally, I'm pointing over here. The book is over here on my shelf. So if you're wondering what I'm pointing at. So that would probably be the one that I'd recommend. But as far as actually grinding and stuff, I would say you got to just decide that you'd listen to, like, I don't know, podcasts like Smart Passive Income. It's just a great place to start every day. Absorb it. Yeah.
Cool. So now let's switch complete gears real quick. If we can borrow you for 5 more minutes, we might run over time, but you got 5 minutes over? Are you cool with that?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay. That would suck if you said no, Raiken, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be
awkward. No.
Gotta water the plants here at some point.
Gotta tuck the kids in.
Yeah, man, he's got to shut down the rave behind him.
It must have passed out.
Yeah, his party rave is about to be all over after the show.
Yeah, it's my fault that they were running around while I've got these lights.
I really feel like I'm at a Steve Aoki concert, man. I'm looking at you like I'm like, holy crap, when's the beat gonna drop? Anyway, okay, so let's talk about this health and productivity thing, because I love this kind of stuff. But it's not about me. This is all about you. So, Raiken read on a recent blog post on your blog about health and productivity, and you covered 4 really odd things that you did. So let's talk about them. All right. So one is athletic greens for health and general wellness. Define this kind of in a nutshell.
So I like athletic greens, and one of the things is again.
What is athletic greens? Sorry. What is athletic greens?
It's just a green drink. Like I always try to be healthy. I'm really like not much more healthy than I don't eat much more healthy than other people. But I like athletic greens because I kind of feel like if I did nothing else healthy today, at least I put some nutrients in my body first thing.
Is it a powder? Is it a shake? Is it a?
Yeah, it's a powder.
Okay.
It's an average tasting powder drink that you put together, and it takes just a minute to make. And
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, it's not cheap, so it's not like it's kind of a commitment to people that take it. I mean, it's one of those things that like I find that it helped me with my energy and stuff. So I really like it. It's simple. I mean, Tim Ferriss promoted it. If he promotes something, I'm like all about it. I'm kind of a sucker for his marketing, but it's one thing that I started doing, and I really am glad that I did. I pay them like a recurring thing, and I get it, and I have it for breakfast every morning.
That's your breakfast, nothing else.
No, I'll eat something else too. I have a couple of eggs or something, but sometimes that'll be it. But I at least want to get that in.
Man, this guy, breakfast sounds like something from a spaceship in like outer space, dude. Like a green drink and like 2 eggs. Looks like it. No, that's cool though. Like, okay, so athletic greens, go check that out, guys. A standing desk for fitness and productivity. You do the standing desk thing. I think doesn't Tim Ferriss talk about that too? Yeah. So there's my standing desk in the. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, I see a piano. I guess that could be a standing desk. Oh yeah, I bought a standing desk. It was on sale for I forget which one I bought. It's like $170. Awesome, but when I moved to my new house, I have not really been using it as much. I kept finding myself leaving work. So that some things have changed since this article was written. I have another change. The next one was so I do recommend the standing desk, but you just have to be careful to not do it. I can't do it all day. It drives me nuts. And the problem is that I'm going to get another desk so I don't have to keep moving it around. But this desk I have is too high. So, but yeah, it's a cool thing. I liked it. I felt like I didn't feel so lethargic at the end of the day, but at the same time,
it reminded me of the treadmill desk. Yeah,
you can definitely do one of those too. It's very much similar.
I think maybe a private label trampoline desk. Maybe that's needed.
Okay. A laptop thing goes over your chest.
Trampoline desk. Raiken's
That's a good idea.
label product.
I like
I
that
see.
a
I
lot.
see 1 out of 5 stars maybe on this one. Bulletproof coffee. Okay, I've heard this from. I know Ferris is on this one, right? Or is it Rogan?
He's into bulletproof tea. It's like it's kind of like it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. He doesn't do the bullet. I know I'm sure he's tried it because he's tried everything. Like
Isn't bulletproof coffee the term of coffee with butter in it? Is that true or no? Or is that something else?
Bulletproof coffee is actually a brand.
Okay.
It's like that was like the brand that kind of started all. Now, since this article came out, I have 180 degrees changed my stance on it because I made myself so sick because the butter and there's nothing wrong with like I was loving it. I was feeling good, but I left out the ghee, which is the grass-fed butter. And it says you don't have to refrigerate it, right? But I was like using the same spoon, and I cross-contaminated it somehow, and I made myself so sick. And you know when you get sick, off of something, and then like you think about it, and you're like,
you never have it again, yeah.
Yeah, like literally, like we need to change the topic because like I'm gonna barf talking about bulletproof coffee right now. It was great at the time. Yeah, I don't want to barf on the camera, but yeah. So I definitely poisoned myself with it. But as long as you don't do that, it was cool. I did lose a little bit of weight, and I felt my energy levels were good. It's a bit of a there's like a lot of pageantry that's involved with making it. It's not like super quick. And it's like really messy, and it makes all your stuff really greasy. And my wife really hated that. So I think she might have actually poisoned it now that I think about that. Maybe that's what, what happened.
Let's get to the fourth thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying?
So you're free to try it out for sure. It's some people will probably like it. Like I said, I've made myself sick, and I literally can't drink it anymore.
Just don't leave or cross-contaminate this stuff out. Okay. Let's talk about something that doesn't make you barf. Morning meditation. Meditation. This is something that anybody can do too, right?
Yeah, and I don't want it to be like super corny or anything, but you can only read for so long how many high performing people say that they made meditation an important part of their daily lives before you at least try it yourself. So I went ahead and I bought something called Headspace. They have a free program too, and there's other free ways to do it. You don't need to pay for anything, but it's cool to start the day off by actually kind of slowing it down. And it's not like a corny thing where you sit there with your legs crossed doing ohms or whatever. It's really just completely, I'm not like some Buddhist monk that can talk to you, wax on about the meditation for days, but I found that it's pretty helpful to the clarity, at least for me in the beginning parts of the day. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's definitely worth people trying, and I think it's really uncomfortable at first and weird, especially for somebody like myself who's really all over the place. And my energy levels are a little bit through the charts, so it's hard for me to kind of calm myself and do that. But I think I found that it does help my performance, especially early in the morning after I do it.
When I first started doing it
early, right? Like Raiken, you do it first thing or after work? Like when do you do it, Raiken?
Yeah, I don't do it every single day anymore, but I love to have it. Like I love to meditate the most after I have a green juice. For some reason, after juicing like fresh vegetables, that already calms you down. But then meditating after that, or like getting in the sun, like it's probably one of the most relaxing and peaceful and tranquil things that you could do ever is green juice and meditation. So I also do meditation if I'm ever really, really stressed out about something. But like Nate said, if you're really fidgety and like you've never done it before, it's going to be the worst experience at first. But after like a couple months of doing it regularly, it gets a lot easier. So I love it.
Yeah. Even just like 10-minute sessions. I mean, some people do it really long, and I kind of think that like doing more than 20 minutes is like a little, to me, that seems counterproductive and a little crazy, but it's everybody's different.
Yeah. Well, that pretty much concludes our outline. I mean, fantastic topics here, Nate. I mean, I hope
Thanks, Nate.
This stuff is pretty high level stuff, and I really like it. And I like how you definitely went into detail about a lot of the stuff too, which is good because our outline was very broad and it was very detailed too. But like you really put a side to it that I think most people can kind of at least start researching on their own. Like, oh, these Chrome extensions or some of this other income stream stuff that you're involved with or affiliate marketing. So, and
yep.
Yeah. So one last question for you: have you ever met Tim Ferriss?
No, I wish. Have you?
So sad.
Have you guys?
He's coming to our green room meeting. No, he's not. I
was expecting you to say something like that.
Next question.
We for Tony Robbins and said, "Yeah, we can only employ."
Yeah, you said.
Or Russell Brunson. One of those guys we're gonna get.
I did. No, but we wanted to
see Tony.
Okay,
cool.
I think Raiken saw Tony
at Russell's event.
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing.
Oh, cool! Awesome.
Yeah, it's not really my cup of tea. But I love Tony Robbins, but I don't really drink the Kool-Aid on it too much. It's like not really my scene. It's intense. Yeah, I don't drink the coffee butter.
Not anymore. Well, I think our show has come to an end. A fantastic guest, Raiken. We got any closing things we want to?
Yeah, just want to thank everybody for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, you could like the video. You can check out the links below in the description to go check out Nate's blog. He's got a lot of really cool blog posts over there, which I was checking out. There's a lot of them. He said, like over 100. So spend some time over there checking out. He's got a lot of free content and some good information. Just keep educating yourself, guys. Take action. That was the big thing I got from this video is if you have an idea, you want to start up a new income stream, get educated, take action. And when you hit road bumps, just know, those are the barriers that most people quit. And if you can get past those roadblocks, you're going to separate yourself from the crowd and get that much closer to building up another income stream. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, check out Nate, check out the Bonafide Hustler on YouTube as well. And yeah, Chris, I think that's it. Nate, you guys.
No, thank you guys for having me on. You guys, everybody go out and take some action, and hopefully we do this again, Steve. I appreciate you. Chris, it was nice meeting you. The first time I met you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. All right. Yep. Thanks, Nate. Thanks, Chris, for coming on. And we will see you guys in the next show next Wednesday on Chris's channel. Until then, guys, peace out and have yourselves a great night. Thanks for watching.